Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and in this video we are celebrating 5 years of me living in this crazy meat-only carnivore lifestyle. I had started a keto diet on March 12th, 2018, and within a few months I had discovered carnivore, and my life has never been the same since. In this video, I want to walk you through a little bit of my backstory, how I ended up at my heaviest weight of 263 pounds, talk about how I lost the weight and what the last 5 years have looked like, where I've struggled with maintenance, but most importantly, all the benefits I have experienced from a meat-only carnivore diet. And then let's talk about now. Am I really gonna eat a meat-only carnivore diet for the rest of my life, and what does that look like? But before we get started, I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Element. I am happy to talk about Element, which is an electrolyte drink supplement that's perfectly formulated for people on a keto, carnivore, or low-carb diet. I put one of these unflavored packets that's unsweetened in my water every morning, and its salty goodness gives me all of the sodium, potassium, and magnesium that I need. It really helps me avoid those muscle cramps, fatigue, and avoid all of those symptoms that you might get from electrolyte deficiencies. My family loves the flavored versions, which are sweetened with stevia. They use them in our hot Arizona summers. The kids are running around, they're sweating, they have jujitsu tournaments. You know, my husband's working outside, he goes for walks in the heat, and they really need those electrolytes to help keep them hydrated. No matter how much water you drink, you still need some type of electrolytes. Element has a deal for all my subscribers where you can get this free sample pack with any purchase that lets you try all 8 of their flavors and figure out which one you like best. They also have a 100% money back guarantee. So to get this free sample pack with your purchase, you can go to drinkelement.com/LauraSpath or click the link in the description. Thanks to Element for sponsoring this video. I often think back and wonder, how did I let myself get to that point? How did I end up at 263 pounds? How did I spend most of my adult life over 200 pounds? What happened to cause me to get there? And there really isn't this specific incidence. You might look back and say, like, when my brother died when I was a child and my family began to use food for comfort. And maybe there's some correlation there of having that learned comfort from food. But in reality, I was using food for happiness, for boredom, for emotions, for sadness, like just for pure entertainment, for convenience. I ate a lot of my meals all throughout college from a fast food restaurant and a gas station, and put on a tremendous amount of weight at that point. And then at some point, when you get heavy enough and you feel like you have to change your lifestyle, you have to implement exercising, you have to make all of these big changes in order to lose weight, it just seems too hard and too overwhelming. And the farther and farther you get from what you deem to be your healthy goal weight, the more exhausting and overwhelming the entire process seems, and the harder it is to start in the first place. And it's not like I wasn't trying to start. I was really good at starting a diet. I was really good at the first month of a diet. I tried every diet out there. I tried vegan for a while. I did low carb. I tried keto. I tried, calorie counting. I was exercising a ton. I was eating broccoli and steamed fish constantly. I was really good at going on a diet and losing 20 pounds. The problem came at keeping it up after that. Short term was the only thing that I could focus on, and then I felt like I needed to reward myself with some kind of treat. Like, you lost 20 pounds, you've earned it, you can have a cheat day. And then that one cheat day would end up being, what you think is going to be a Friday night, it would be the entire weekend with plans of starting again on Monday, which then would have me fall off the wagon again by Tuesday. And then I would wait till the first of the next month. And then after another holiday, and the next thing you know, 6 months had gone by and I had gained 40 pounds back of the 20 that I had initially lost. And I really spent most of my life knowing that I needed to lose weight. I couldn't do what I was doing, but I was always living in one extreme of the other, of like completely on the wagon, super strict, or off the wagon, eating fast food and gas stations and, an entire cake from a grocery store on a Tuesday night for dinner. It was a problem. March 12th, I started another diet. I tried keto. My husband was type 2 diabetic, and we knew that we had to cut out carbs and sugar. I was pre-diabetic and knew that that was the way to go. But this time, an unexpected thing happened, and that was we found out about the carnivore diet. For me, it was this perfect combination of eating meat, eggs, and a little bit of dairy or cheese, and doing a lot of intermittent fasting and some occasional 48-hour fasting. That was this magic combination for weight loss. I was able to eat really as much as I wanted in 1 or 2 meals a day, and then I would incorporate a 48-hour fast to help me break a weight loss stall if I was experiencing one. We are all or nothing people, and my husband and I really made losing weight and our health our number one priority for a year. And in that year, we each lost 120 pounds. I think the fact that we made it our only priority is why we were able to do it so quickly. We also did more fasting than what was sustainable. We actually had a conversation this morning about how difficult that was to maintain that intensity, which is inevitably why in 2020, when all of a sudden our routine was thrown off, our world was changing, and we were home full time, and we lost that perfect routine that we had, we both struggled. And at that point, I realized that I had never addressed my deeper relationship with food. I wasn't addressing why I was turning to food. In a lot of ways, doing meat and fasting and losing 120 pounds was still just this temporary thing that I was incorporating that helped me to lose weight. It just so happens that I was able to stick it out long enough to not actually fall off the wagon because I stopped allowing myself to have those cheat days. But in 2020, I realized that I can't keep that up forever. And that's when I had this really big wake up call moment that like, we have some other issues going on. I had to figure out what foods were triggering me, what was causing me problems, what can I incorporate, where can I like relax a little bit. And everything changed for me in terms of thinking about things in a longer term, sustainable lifestyle. And now, there's people out there who watch these videos and they tell me, you're not carnivore, you have pickles, you have spices, you're eating Walmart meat, you're eating meat from Costco. None of this is carnivore. Like, okay, maybe I'll go change the name of this video. Like, maybe you don't consider me carnivore anymore. In a lot of ways, like, I don't really care what you consider me. I know that this is what's working for me. Like, whatever it is that we figure out how to do is the way that I've been able to then re-lose the weight that I gained. And now it's been 3 years of like being a consistent weight. And it's mind-blowing to me that I have been at a basically stable weight for 3 years. I never would have imagined that I would believe that, especially considering my entire life past puberty, I was fluctuating very large amounts of weight swings, gaining or losing in every 2 or 3, 6 months. I would have these huge weight swings. And so now I still do intermittent fasting. I currently am eating 2 meals a day. Every once in a while, I might do 1 meal a day. I am able to do still 48-hour fasts on occasion. I use my electrolytes and I'm able to skip a day when I have a really busy day. And that helps to kind of reset me from a mental and physical standpoint. It helps me align my weight. But I'm not doing all of those things to such intensity that I don't enjoy my life. I enjoy the things that I'm eating every day. I have my one non-negotiable thing of stick to carnivore in whatever that means for me. And I know that I can't incorporate things like fruit because I don't moderate them well. Eating a 1/4 cup of blueberries a day is likely not going to throw you off from a weight loss perspective. It's not going to negatively affect your blood sugar if you are trying to heal. But what it is going to do is it's going to turn into a 1/4 cup of blueberries twice a day. And then it's going to turn into some blueberries and some strawberries. And the next thing you know, I'm having a cup of blueberries and a cup of strawberries and a bunch of whipped cream on top. And then it's like, well, we might do that twice a day. And then the next thing you know, I'm eating a pint of ice cream every night. Like, I know that about myself, that things like fruit and honey and any type of actual carbs or sugar, I can't moderate. And as much as I want to lie to myself and say that I can, I know it very quickly will spiral out of control. And so that's a parameter that I've put on myself. And then other things like vegetables, like I have some videos about it. Like, I just don't feel good eating vegetables. They cause me bloat, they cause me digestive issues. And those are not things that I am like really looking to incorporate back into my diet. what is defined as a carnivore diet is not something that I'm actually concerned about. What I'm concerned about is how can I be consistent? I can't live in this intensity of like biohacking constantly and only eating regenerative, grass finished. Like those are not types of things that I enjoy. And it's just not going to work with a busy lifestyle that I lead. I do struggle. Like I will never be one of those people who looks at a bunch of carbs or sugar or desserts and thinks like, oh, that's poison. I can't have that. Like I know it's toxic for me and I personally can't moderate that. Yeah, I know that. But it doesn't mean that it's easy all the time. It doesn't mean it doesn't make me sad and I don't grieve the fact that I can't be a like normal person and have a small piece of cake on my birthday occasionally or have a treat on a holiday. I don't have to be happy about that all the time. And you know what? In a lot of ways, giving myself the permission to still be frustrated about that is actually really freeing. I have been able to stop waiting for this magical moment when all of my cravings go away. And I'm able to say like, okay, here's where I'm going to be triggered. Here's where I'm going to have cravings. And now I can work within the bounds of understanding that and not just like thinking that I'm broken because I still have cravings sometimes. It's not that I'm not perfect enough. It's not that, I'm just not doing things hard enough. It's really just that that's a part of who I am and it's okay to grieve in the moment. But I also am able to take a step back and understand why I'm doing this in the first place and really have some self-awareness of the fact that like, girl, that looks amazing, but I know I can't handle it. And it's not going to lead me down the path that I want to go down anymore. And at this point, not having any treats is so much easier than trying to have a small amount of something. And I live in this place of much greater freedom now that I try not to incorporate those things. In addition, I have had so many other positive elements. I think overall my mood stability, my husband will tell you, is much better when I'm not eating carbs and sugar and I'm maintaining a meat-only carnivore diet. I have a video on like hemorrhoids and extreme constipation and all of those terrible issues that I used to experience by adding more fiber, did nothing but cause me more physical pain. And I clearing up my digestive issues, my gut by eliminating all those vegetables and staying carnivore is an absolute dream and something that like keeps me away from trying to incorporate veggies of any kind moving forward. My skin, like I always get comments on my skin. Carnivores have good skin, I'll tell you that. I struggle with acne, not going through childhood and puberty. It wasn't until I was in my 20s. Well, what else changed in my 20s? I was eating carbs and sugar and a bunch of junk. And I noticed inflammation is reduced. I had a broken wrist when I was a kid, and I had knee surgery when I was at my heaviest, a torn meniscus. I had back surgery actually when I was 19 years old. I had a lower back bulging disc that I had to have repaired, and I experienced back pain, knee pain, and wrist pain my entire life. And those are not things that I struggle with at all anymore. And I have had such freedom from those things. If I were to have carbs or sugar, the inflammation and the swelling and the joint pain that comes back from those things is pretty serious. And that's another reason why I'm able to maintain this carnivore diet. As I look ahead and I wonder what does forever look like for me, I never would have imagined 5 years ago, even a year ago, would you be eating a carnivore diet still? Like I can't commit to that. I have a really hard time making these really grand plans. And I think that's still where I focus so much of what I do on one day at a time, like just trying to figure out what works for me, that when I say like, will I be eating carnivore forever? Like it stresses me out to think about that, to be honest. All I know is that right now I am not equipped with the tools of going back and adding carbs and sugar. I, from a physical digestive standpoint, can't incorporate things like vegetables, and my health is doing fantastic. And so at this point, for the first time in my life, I feel a sense of relief and like comfort. And, I'm living this life day to day. It's interesting to me to still be talking about this publicly because I share on YouTube and Instagram, because this is not something that I really think about in my day-to-day life. I love the fact that I get to just work a job and be a mom and be a wife and just live my normal life, and I just happen to eat predominantly meat. And it's not something that has to be this like big focus for me every day. I'm able just to like be flexible within those bounds. I have my one non-negotiable thing and everything else can just be really flexible. I still am not exercising at all, and I know I should be, so I'd like to incorporate that at some point. I feel like I've said this year after year on this channel, but again, it's one of those things that like I can't live to that intensity and stay doing what I'm doing now. Like I have to figure out just how to be consistent every day, and right now this is just kind of the way that I do that. So forever, I don't ask me about that. I can't commit to anything for forever at this point, but I do know that this is what I have to do right now. I am never been healthier in my entire life. You know, I'm almost 38 years old. By the time a lot of you watch this video, I'll be 38. And I am healthier now than I have been in my entire life. And I have no plans of turning back or incorporating anything else at this point on a regular basis. If you have any other specific questions for me about living a carnivore lifestyle for the last 5 years, ask them in the comments below and I will do a future video addressing some of the most common questions that I get. If you're looking for community support, I do weekly live streams in my locals community, and we all kind of do some like challenges together and focus on this concept of sticking to your goals one day at a time and just trying to figure out what does it mean for us to live these healthy, consistent, long-term lives. You can come find us over there. So thanks guys for watching and hope this was helpful.